Konnichiwa, Year 2, which is hello in Japanese. Now, for this morning, we've got some missing number sums. Now, these can look a bit scary to start with because it looks like they've already got the answer. So what are we meant to do? What you've got to find out is what's missing. Now, when we did this in class, we played a game using the character Burglar Bill, where everyone had to shut their eyes and you had some 10 sticks and then people sneaked around the room and took some away. So if you look at this first one, they start off with 50, which if you can see up there is 5 tens. And then after Burglar Bill's been, they've only got 2 tens left. So you have to work out what has gone missing. And one way you can do that is using your fingers as 10 sticks. So you've got 2 tens. How many more do you need to get back up to 5 tens? If I show you using the 10 sticks, here are 5 tens, so that's 50. Now, if you're going to end up with only 20, you can see quite easily what's been taken away. 3 tens have been taken away, so it's 50, take away 30 equals 20. And there's the next question. So you've got 4 tens, 40, take away what leaves 30. So there's 30. So what's been taken away? Just 10. So it's 40, take away 10. The red questions have got ones as well. So this question is 54, take away something equals 20. So 20 is all that's going to be left. So there's the 20. So what has been taken away? You've got 3 tens and you've got 4 ones. So 34 has gone, and that's where you've got 20 left. And on all of the red ones, there are no ones left. So all of the ones have gone. So freeze the frame on this page and have a go at some of these in your book. So do the purple ones first, they're easier, and then have a go at the red ones. I'll just give you a clue for the red ones. Remember I said the ones have all gone. If you look at the answer, there are no ones in any of the answers. So that means we know that the 4 ones have gone, the 6 ones have gone, the 2 ones have gone, that one's gone, and that one's gone. You already know they've gone because by the time it gets to the answer, there are no ones left. So if this was the Burglar Bill game, you know he's taken all the ones, but how many tens has he taken? That's what you need to work out. The TLP for today is can I record fractions? So yesterday you were representing them, so you were colouring in bits of the whole to show the fraction. This time the part of the fraction is already going to be coloured in and you have got to record the correct fraction. Now this picture here is of the display in the classroom that Mrs. Lewis has put up for fractions, and you can see there we've got some pictures of some of the fair feasts that you've sent in. And over here, over this side, we've got the words for the different parts of a fraction. Now the number down the bottom, this number is called the denominator. And so that tells you the total number of equal parts in the whole. And then the number at the top is called the numerator. And that tells you the number of equal parts in the fraction. And so if you look at the pictures over here, we've got 3/4 of a pie, and there's 1/4 of a pie. We've got half a sandwich. We've got 1/6 of a donut, and then 5/6 of a donut. And then we've got 1/3 of a tart and 2/3 of the tart. So let's go back to a picture of a fraction. So remember, the denominator is a number down the bottom, and that tells you how many equal parts there are. So there's 1, 2, 3. It's been divided into 3 parts. Then the numerator, the top number, tells you how many parts are in the fraction. So how much is green? Just 1. 1 part is green. So let's have a look at this example. So the denominator is how many equal parts? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 equal parts. Now, how many of those parts are in the fraction? How many are coloured in yellow? 2 are coloured in yellow, so that's 2/4. Let's have a look at this one. How many equal parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 parts altogether. And how many are coloured in? 2 are coloured in. So that means that is 2 6. Now remember, it doesn't matter which parts are coloured in. They don't all have to be coloured in on one side. So how many parts are there this time? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 parts altogether. And how many are coloured in? 1, 2, 3, 4 are coloured in green. So that is 4/8. Now you might have realised that that's actually the same as a half, isn't it? Half of that is actually coloured in green. But on the sheet today, all you need to say is what you can see. So how many bits are coloured in? Here's another example. So how many bits are there all together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means it's fifths. And how many are coloured in? 2/5. Now let's look at one that's not a circle, because we've been looking at too many circles. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 bits altogether. 2 of them are coloured in. So that's 2/4, or remember 2/4. It's also called a quarter, which again is the same as a half, isn't it? Half of that is coloured in. Now I'm going to show you the sheet that you're going to be using now. This is the sheet in your pack that you need to use. So it's got pictures of the fractions, and it says what is the fraction of the shaded part. So the one they've done for you, we've got 4 equal parts. So there's the 4, that's the denominator. And then 1 part is coloured in. So that's 1/4 or 1/4. Now some of these can actually be described in 2 ways. So if we look at this one here, there's 2 coloured in out of 4 altogether. So that's 2/4. But you could also say it's a half. Because if you look at the whole, half of the whole is coloured in. So those 2 fractions are the same. It's called equivalent. They're exactly the same fractions. So all you have to do is label each fraction now. So that worksheet probably doesn't take very long. So I had an idea of something else you could do. Mrs. Oliver has just brought in this amazing poster of a fraction wall. It's got whole, half, third, quarter, fifth, 6th, 8th and 10th. So what we could have a go at is making a smaller version of this wall using a piece of paper. So I'm going to show you how you can fold a piece of paper and you can make your own mini fraction wall. So here's my piece of paper. Remember, it doesn't have to be coloured, and it doesn't even matter. It can have something on the back of it. It can be a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to try and do it without having to draw anything. So I'm just going to fold it in half like that first. And then I'm going to fold it in half again long ways. And at the moment I've made it actually into quarters, and I'm going to cut along those lines. So I've got 4 strips. So I've got my 4 strips. So at the moment I've got 4 holes now. We could say that's a hole, that's a hole, that's a hole, and that's a hole. Or you could say we've got quarters of the original hole. Now, first of all, that's going to be the top one. So we're going to make a half. Could have done this with all different colours. That would have been good, wouldn't it? So that's going to be my half, and then this one needs to be quarters. So to get a quarter, remember, you make a half and then half it again. So a quarter is half of a half. So that's going to be quarters. Now I could do thirds, but that's quite hard to fold. To get that into 3 equal bits is quite hard. So now I'm going to half the quarters. So there's a half, there's a quarter. I wonder if you can remember what that makes. And those are 8ths. So now I'm going to cut them all out. So that's my finished fraction wall. And what this is really useful for is finding equivalents, finding fractions that are the same. So if you look at these 2 here, 2/8 is the same as 1/4. It's exactly the same. And you can see that 2/4 are the same as a half. Wonder how many 8ths make a half. Let's move that across. We put it under the 8ths. 4/8 are the same as a half as well. So 4/8 is a half, 2/4 is also a half. How many eighths make a whole? How many of those make a whole? It's 8/8 match 1 whole, just like 4/4 make a whole and 2 halves make a whole. So you can have a go at making one of those.